everyone, welcome back to the Simi Sarah channel. Today we are creating a close-knit family farm, and the idea that I had behind this is I really wanted to create another version of the family farm that I did for like a grandma and the multi-generational family. It was like a giant mansion with a huge just like farm for planting crops and animals. And I really loved how it turned out. But so often in The Sims 4, I tend to enjoy playing with smaller families, specifically in mind with like a newer family, like who are just starting out with kids, or something that is a little bit more simpler to start off. So I wanted to create this home with that idea in mind, but with the belief that the husband and wife were kind of tag teaming the homestead, living off the land, getting a garden for food and animals, and raising maybe like a toddler and kid and one day teenager and things. So what I ended up doing was that this house ends up being a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom with a really nice outdoor garage space that ends up being like the mom's or dad's place that they can do like fizzy drinks and just woodworking and different hands-on projects like that. And I end up with a really neat garden as well as a few cattle sheds. And after I created this home, I really wanted to play around with it. So I ended up getting Sims from the gallery, and I'm actually going to share a picture with you of the Sims family that I thought fit really well with basically this build. So this is the McGregor family, and as you can see, like if you take a look who created it, and I just downloaded it, and I loved how the dad was into like cattle raising, and just like the aspirations of them fit really well with the homestead idea. But anyways, when I was playing with it, I didn't want the mom to have a kid right away because I really wanted to like establish the chicken coop and the garden and get kind of all of that really established before growing the family. And then unfortunately, I did not like disable and my mods before The Sims 4 had that new update, and it kind of glitched out my game. So my Sims are like stuck in a loop of not being able to cook at all. Obviously that's not working well. So I can re-download it or not re-download it, replace it and start again from the beginning. But that was kind of frustrating. Right there, I am using a TikTok. Well, I saw it on TikTok, a TikTok little cheat to create open windows using a window of your choice as well as an archway, and just kind of raising up an archway to create the look of like the windows have been slid open. And I ended up using shelves on the bottom because I thought it kind of helped make it a little bit more realistic. I do believe in the kitchen space that I delete the shelves on the inside, since the countertops kind of do that naturally. On the side of the house, I create a really neat dining room that is just filled with these beautiful windows. And I really loved how the tall ceilings and just kind of made it look like a sun porch, but was more for practical use of like eating. So the other thing while I was building this, because I didn't disable my mods, and after that update, I had so many glitches while building this, and I should have cut my losses and just like stopped it, turned off all my mods, started up all over again, do all of that. But I was just like so determined to keep going because I was on like such a good rhythm and flow that I just kind of ignored a lot of the glitches. But I promise that if you don't have mods, or like when you download it, they are not visible, because once I did fix my game, some of those things went away. So you'll see like the roof trying to like stick into the rooms up on the second floor, as well as like the caps of the roof kind of look a little weird too, but that all went away after I fixed my game. Glitches in The Sims are so frustrating. The only thing it didn't fix, like I said, was like my Sims couldn't eat, and it was really annoying that I did all this work and had so much fun with this family. And the little girl or the little toddler that I started with, it became like a kid, and mom was pregnant with her second. So that's frustrating. It makes me only more excited for the fact that Paralives is continuing to send out updates of where they are in the process of building their game. And I could not get over the release that they shared today with, a customizing in Create a Sim and how much was customizable. Literally everything had a slide bar, and I'm obsessed, as well as a color wheel. So that meant things like making an Adam's apple really defined, and things like taller Sims and shorter Sims. So just because they're an adult doesn't mean that they all have to be the same height, which was really neat. And I know a lot of details went into creating different like structures for like body types, as well as like different differentiation. People of color, their hands were lighter skinned on the palm, which I know some people commented their excitement about, because that's not something, those type of details are missing from The Sims 4, and honestly just The Sims in general. So yeah, the other thing I have learned recently is that like Paralives is not planning on doing a billion DLC expansion packs. Yes, they did say that there may be some, but most of it will just be free updates to the base game. That already is a very different, I would say, like, prerogative compared to the EA with The Sims 4. I am actually working on a video of how much money The Sims 4 really costs if you were looking for the game to be full of like all of it, like what most people purchase in order to make it playable. So that's going to come out pretty soon. I'm pretty excited about that one because I think it really opens the eyes of us players to how much we're waiting for and how much we've paid in order to get, I would say, some things that are bare minimum. And kind of, it might make you a little bit sad to see how much has gone into it. But anyways, in my build here, I have created that cute little sun porch with our dining room, and I'm using a lot of country kitchen kit items in the kitchen. I end up making a really nice large island in this space, since there is just like a really nice middle section. And like I said, this is like the homestead idea. So like family orientated. You got a big dining room table for the family to eat at. You've got the kitchen that's perfect setup for things like canning. And I even put like a coffee maker or tea maker on the counter. And right off of the kitchen is not just like the dining room, but I create like a little office space like for reading and for being with the family and playing chess and things like that. So just very family orientated with some of my favorite like wallpapers from Cottage Living, and like the brick wall and that makes it look like that. I end up using the fireplace as well from Cottage Living. I put a picture on the mantle, and if you're wondering how I did that, because typically pictures snap to the wall and you can't really put them on the mantle. So what I do is I delete the walls behind it and raise the picture to the height that I want it at. And then I place it, and then I put the walls right back. So the picture looks like just a normal picture on what you would find on the top of the mantle. But that chair I am recently obsessed with, that black one with like the little fuzzy blanket next to it. That is from Snowy Escape. I absolutely love just like the texture and design of it. It's just, I really enjoy it. So that's that chair. And the other chair is from Eco Lifestyle. I kind of wanted it to be a little mismatched, not like perfectly straight and cookie cutter, just like very family friendly, cozy place. I put a little drink table over there using the vintage glamour like rolling cart and like the drink tray, and just getting some like very academically like pictures in on the wall to encourage the kids to maybe pursue higher education or whatever it is in their hearts that they want to set out for. The walls on the first floor are a medium wall height, so I had plenty of space to go pretty high above the fridge with the cabinets, and in the corner I end up using shelving instead of a corner cabinet because I didn't want to block my open window that I created. So I figured the open shelves would be the best like way of using that space well. I also put in the hutch in the dining room that is also from I think is it cottage living or country no cottage living, yeah, and it matches perfectly with the cabinets in the kitchen, and I love that matchy matchy vibe, but not too matchy matchy. So like you can see how the wallpaper stands out pretty well compared to the cabinets and things like that. In our little sink here, I used a little pitcher because I love the idea of maybe having that pitcher full of water for whatever purposes, such as drinking or maybe a to-do or like a do-it-yourself like vase type thing. Very country feeling. And yeah, that's basically my kitchen. And like I said, my kitchen stopped working, or my Sims stopped being able to cook in here, which is weird. But I do know it does function if you download it, because I started a brand new world and it worked just fine then. Right off of the kitchen and like our little dining room space that I end up putting a couple more like natural decorations in is going to be our like family room. I do end up getting like a TV and things, but I didn't want it to be the focus of the living room, so I do not end up putting it on top of the mantle, but we'll get to that pretty soon in a moment. In the little sun porch here, I end up using that blooming kit to get that 3-level thing, using a couple of the kits or plants as well to really make it look cute and full of life in there, and using these rugs as well to bring in kind of that gold vibe that the lantern lights have, as well as the doorknobs, to just kind of bring that in. And then using these pots in the space too. I do size them down, and I do know that they work. I have tested them and played with them. So the small pots do work. I grew some green peppers personally with my family inside. But next I'm kind of moving on into that family room space. And this is actually where I get a chess table over by the open window that I create. This is that other rug, which I think I put back. No, maybe I don't. But that one is my favorite rug, and I don't end up using it, surprisingly. But that's good, because that means I'm not just doing the same things that I love. But anyways, I don't end up keeping that little like modern table or chair, I guess. I do like I said, I wanted a TV for the purpose of like having fun for The Sims, but I didn't want it to be on top of the mantle as like a focus point. And so I don't end up leaving it there. I end up putting it like right by the staircase to kind of tuck it away in that corner. And I use like that shelf on the wall from Paranormal. I don't actually use it very much, but I love that little hanging plant. I wish that was a part of maybe like the blooming kit plant, or was just an option without the shelf, just because I love the hanging plants, but we don't have any hanging plants unless they are hanging from the ceiling. So it would be really cool to have one that was like not a ceiling hanging plant, but just like a waterfall plant for like desks and tables and things like that. But I try to use every nook and cranny like wisely for this family, since the idea is they've got lots of things that their kids are going to pursue, and one day have lots of kids to fill the house maybe. or just need the space for different clutter and such. So I used some of those cabinets. I actually don't remember what those cabinets are from, but I know they're a wall decoration and not under the kitchen set. So if you're looking for them, you can go take a look there. And then I end up using some of these sconces on the wall instead of putting like all ceiling lights since older homes tend to have like built-in sconces like that. So that's, yeah, kind of a historical type of thing or family farm type thing. Anyways, upstairs, this house does end up having 3 bedrooms. And then there's 2 bathrooms upstairs and 1 bathroom downstairs. The 2 bathrooms upstairs, there is 1 bathroom for one of the kids' rooms because that's connected to it. And I did that because I figured with the toddler that they would need to get their potty in there, and just have a lot more space for kids stuff like a tub and things, where the teenagers room, or like at least in my mind, and the parents room, they could share the shower together and not need quite as much space. I just decorated the entranceway area, getting a whole bunch of just like cottage living and like vibes, like that rug is a part of cottage living and yeah, and then I come back and decorate that paranormal little shelf that I talked about with like a vintage truck and magazine holder and cross stitching stuff. Then I decided to get a whole bunch of my activities that I really wanted to get in for this build, such as like the fizzing station, a candle making station, flower arrangement. We've got woodworking, but I don't end up leaving it how I have it right now. I create an entire separate garage or like shed space outside for the fizzing station because it's just such a large item that it didn't fit in even that little room that I created right there. So I had created that room with the purpose of getting a couple of skill building items into it, but I realized that it just was still not big enough for everything that I had in mind. So I created a whole garage full of skill building and used a couple of debug items such as like a tractor to make it look more like a barn, so it would fit well with like the vibe of the house. I did spend some time on like the landscaping and like creating like another second entranceway from the back side of the house, since I figured there would be a lot of dirt tracked in if this like was like realistic when the husband or kids or whoever goes outside. That way they have like a second entranceway that's not through the front door, where they can, pretend to clean up. I'm all about imagination and pretending and like realistic house designs a lot of times, so I like coming up with those ideas. But the candle making is perfect for living off the grid, since you can create these candles and use them as like a lighting source in your home instead of having to use electricity and trying to get a power source through there. I end up going through the debug items and finding all the different debug items that I wanted for my landscape. Sometimes it's just easier to place it all out to kind of see what type of space I need to create for it. And then I was having the hardest time deciding which flower like decoration technically cabinet I wanted to use. You've got that brand new one from the Blooming Kit Pack. You have the one from Cottage Living, and then you have another one that's from Eco Lifestyle. And I love them all. It's like one of those really weird items where there's just so many repetitive ones. It kind of reminds me of the kids pack, how there are like a billion kids art centers. Has anyone ever realized that? Like there's like 6 or 7 different options that you can choose from for the same activity or skill building for the kid of art. And it's really like weird to me that there's so many different options for the same exact thing. So that's kind of what ended up happening with the like builds here as well, was that there were a lot of options for flower pots. I also worked on getting some athletic equipment outside to kind of give a workout room, as well as like the decoration tub so you can put decorations out for different holidays. I have that really cute bike with the flowers on the front of it. I think that's because I pre-ordered Cottage Living that I got that bike. I can't remember though. So if you missed out on that, like if you had pre-ordered Cottage Living, they gave you like 3 items for free, a gnome, a bike, and a tree with like hanging lanterns. And so if you pre-ordered it, but if you didn't pre-order it, it wasn't possible to get those items, which is kind of newer. The Sims don't usually do stuff like that. I know other games do, but that was the first time that I believe I've seen that. But then again, I did not start playing Sims 4 immediately when it came out. I was very attached to my Sims 3, and I saw the scathing reviews of The Sims 4 when it first came out. Like, how is there no toddlers? Like, do you remember back then how there was no toddlers at all? Like, the game just existed without that. They would jump from a baby object, right? We talk about how the babies aren't even playable. They're literally in the debug item because that's how unanimated, unplayable they are. And then also they just jumped up to kids. So like those were the reviews that I saw when I was like playing Sims 3, and I was like, I'm not going to switch yet. I'm just going to stay in Sims 3 and wait till they either fix the Sims 4 or I'm going to wait for Sims 5. And so I've had the Sims 4 now for about 2 years, I think. No, maybe it's been like a year and a half, but I cannot imagine starting Sims 4 without like some of these packs. It would be almost, I can see why a lot of people went back to the Sims 3 for gameplay. The gameplay would have been just so vanilla and boring and just like no imagination. I don't know. It was just, yeah. So I'm glad Sims 4 has come a very long way, but it has taken over 10 years to get to this point, and that's crazy. 10 years. There's companies that send out games a lot faster. So fingers crossed for Paralives. I am so excited for it. I cannot wait to see when it comes out. I'm like serious. Like they talk about how they're not going to do all these DLCs and things, which means you can just purchase one game, and I am so ready to move on from The Sims. But I really love The Sims because obviously it you know, like playing your own Sims and worlds and things like that. Here I am once again experiencing another giant glitch where the gate basically erased the fence part if I didn't place it there, but you can't kind of see it because I kind of like fast forward it enough, but I promise when I re-downloaded it, that wasn't there either. So, so if you want to, you can find this build on my gallery under Simisarah, SIMISARAH. It's, I think I called it the Close-Knit Family Farm. And it's one of my more recent ones, so it should be up towards the top. I do have a couple of my other builds already uploaded where the videos haven't come out yet. So those are basically, you can kind of get a preview of the speed builds that I have already done and am working on editing the videos. And you can download them and play them right now. You don't have to wait for me to upload the YouTube video for them. So yeah, go check it out. Anyways, I'm just going to kind of continue on the landscaping outside. I do some last minute details or actually not last minute details. I do the entire upstairs, all the bedrooms. The one thing that was like, you might not have seen before is I get some cross stitching patterns for the parents' room upstairs, which if you're wondering, oh, are those custom content? No custom content at all is being used. Basically, what you could do is you can go into the gallery and download different artworks, and it's not considered custom content because it can be found in the gallery. And so I did that for not just cross stitching like wall art, but also for a couple picture frames as well for the house that I use. So you can re-download, or you can download those on the gallery in order to get those if you don't have it. Or you can just like look up cottage artwork, and that's kind of what I did for that. I created a little cool like cabinet nook place for the garbage cans and recycling, using different items and combining them to kind of create like a door, like little doors that can like pretend close for the garbage can to keep like the animals out. But I wanted it close to the animals since the animal pens have to be cleaned and you have to throw the muck into the garbage cans. I didn't want my Sims like walking all the way across the farm in order to get rid of all of the like the stuff that they clean out from the place. So Anyways, I just want to thank you so much for watching my videos. I'm going to kind of just let you enjoy the rest of this build, and we'll talk to you soon. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks. Bye.